Favorite one.
Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summer presentation of the Star Ladder I-League Chinese Dota 2 tournament. It is going to be the group stage match between EHOME, Luminous, and VG.P Potential, and it's going to be Game 2 of this two-game series. So, for those watching on VOD, as there are quite a few people actually checking out the major right now, can't say I blame them. Yeah, we are now currently day 3 of Star Ladder. We got to see some really good performance from EHOME Luminous in game number 1. They're up now 1-0, and they had a lot of momentum going through the mid-game, the early mid-game in particular. The Lina really got farmed, got a lot of momentum behind her, and just they executed really well with their spells. VG.P with a great high ground defense late game lineup just dashed their hopes away, and were really bringing the comeback. Brought all the metrics in their favor, and then ended up, unfortunately, giving that lead back to EHOME Luminous in the end. So EHOME Luminous did take it, despite being at a disadvantage at that point in time, and now they're going to try to find a clear path to victory here to make another 2-0 happen. Like I said, they've already gotten 2 2-0s in their groups here, so they're looking really good already. They actually are probably the best seeded team right now, just based on their wins. But we'll see how that progresses as the Group A kind of concludes itself here. Anyways, let's get into the draft. Enough of me jabbering on. I'm Blaze, and let's see our last game for the night. 5 a.m. it may be, but sleepy cast, best cast. Let's do it. Wyvern going to be the first pick here for EHOME Luminous. Night Stalker being their follow through. So they've got supports covered. Maybe they run an off lane Night Stalker. It's not unheard of, but at least for now, they've got a really good duo that can be involved early, zoning and even ganking. The Darkseer, Tusk, Doom, Undying, all these bans make a lot of sense. I see sometimes the Spirit Breakers being banned in Phase 1, often being banned in Phase 2. Yeah, I never actually see the hero picked, even when he's not banned.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure if it's just that sometimes it's not the game for it. But anyways, we got the Dazzle Shadow Fiend opener from VG.P. This is something that I'd really like to do. Put Fan on SF, put heroes behind him to keep him safe, and just let him start tearing out. So I think a lot of VG.P's strength is built on their ganking presence with their supports and their ability to build up their cores. I mean, that might be a generic way of talking about Dota, but I really feel like those are the two things that they, in particular, exemplify on this team. So we've got the Gyrocopter Juggernaut bans here for EHOME Luminous, the Queen of Pain, as well as one more coming out from VG.P. So in terms of safe lane farmers, the pool is thinning. Ember Spirit being a little bit stronger here. Lina was the last safe laner for EHOME Luminous though, so maybe they're going to keep their non-traditional style going and give Freeze whatever he feels he can wreck with in terms of their spell set. Lina's still a pretty strong hero, and rarely do we get to see her actually get that much farm. The safe lane position was just perfect for her in terms of building up to the mid-game. But we're going to see the Wind Ranger banned out. Pretty key hero in these kinds of situations, and obviously one that matches up well enough against the Shadow Fiend. Templar Assassin also in the pool. I think that could be pretty strong as well. Shallow Grave can definitely thwart the intentions of TA to just insta-give somebody, burst them down. But at the same time, there are situations where the TA just strikes so hard, so fast, the Dazzle doesn't get the chance to respond with the Shallow Grave. And speak of him, and he shall appear. We haven't really gotten to see Spirit Breaker until now, over these past 3 days, but finally we get to see some of Barathram's play here in the Chinese division. And obviously this is the division that prioritizes this hero much more than others, so I'm excited to see what they've learned from some of the top tier teams. EHOME Luminous, how do they answer? I mean, they've got a few good spells against Spirit Breaker. I think the Searing Chains are actually really good here, so it could go for the Ember Spirit like I said. Otherwise, their options are thinning pretty quickly. Just needs somebody who can kind of stand on their own and doesn't have to worry about getting charged, and in lots of situations, Lina can be that hero. If she sees it coming, she will be able to get that LSA out. She might be able to get Yules out. She should be able to control this Spirit Breaker, and obviously Freeze was the one who was carrying his team and was the MVP in Game 1. So, yeah, I'd have to say that if you're looking to change things between Game 1 and Game 2, the Freeze Lina is not one of those things. It is really good.
10 seconds remaining.
Fourth pick coming here for VG.P. And, you know, they have already a pretty good lineup for gaining momentum. Maybe I want to go for the Bounty Hunter here. Just find those kill opportunities. Could be really good for building up gold and getting the SF online in a big way. They could also be thinking of a safe laner that isn't too physical damage dependent, since the Wyvern Cold Embrace would otherwise shut down a lot of what they've got going for them. Double Raise still will most likely kill a low HP target, but you don't always want to be in that position where SF has to get the Double Raise out. They pick up Clockwork, one of the last offlaners in the pool, or the traditional sense. And yeah, we're going to be seeing that changing things a little bit here. Clockwork in the offlane, Spirit Breaker roaming, Dazzle supporting somebody bottom, and then Fan mid lane, Shadow Fiend. So we're going to see overall less stacks for the Shadow Fiend, I would say. The Dazzle's going to be safe lane, most likely, so that would leave SF to stack for himself, and Spirit Breaker to do it on the occasion when he's roaming. Clockwork, how do you answer it? Could go with the offlane Night Stalker, the support Rubik. Could be pretty good here. I like Rubik and Lina together. I think they are a really strong duo with the Telekinesis Light Strike Array. And then you've got some pretty good spells to work with as well. And the Clockwork could be facing some difficulties. But they pick up their next hero as Viper. A hero that can survive a lot of the magical damage coming up from the Spirit Breaker, but otherwise doesn't really do much for me here. I'm not really sure what to think of the Viper. He'll do okay in his lane. They might be able to Death Ball behind him if he gets to pick up the mech early. But all in all, I'm not sold that this hero is really gonna be able to put out that much pressure. I'm much more interested in what the Lina's gonna do than what DXM can do with the Viper. Last time he played Dragonite though, and I guess that's a similar situation. They have obviously the Dragon Tail is much more involved than a Viper Strike, but you know it's an interesting pick. At least you're able to kite away from the Spirit Breaker and Clockwork pretty easily, and he's very survivable innately. So I'd say they've got some good tools at their disposal, but essentially a lot of times you're just gonna have to eat the charge. You don't really have a way to stop getting charged, so you're just gonna have the Spirit Breaker dive you under tower, and that could cause a lot of problems very early on. Slaughter is going to be the final ban here.
5 seconds
EHOME Luminous didn't prioritize that for Phase 2, so they won't get it in Phase 3. And the Phantom Lancer is actually going to be taken out by VG.P. So Fan used to play a lot of Phantom Lancer to great success. Now he's taking the mid role, and they just want to take one of the last viable carries out of the pool for Jixing. From there, I mean, Jixing definitely has his options cut out from underneath him a little bit here. Slark actually is a pretty good hero here. I mean, there are a few spells that will still affect him dramatically, but I think Slark is actually pretty strong.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Otherwise, I'm not too sure. They'll go for it. Cool. So, Light Strike Array is going to hit him. Winter's Curse will affect him. But you can disjoint Viper Strike with Pounce. And otherwise, you're just going to try to stay glued to your target and just build up a lot of attack speed this game, I would say. Attack speed is really important for Slark in this situation. I mean, yeah, you'll get your BKB, but... Or maybe you might down it. I'm not. I think you'll get your BKB, but I'm not sure. There's a lot that goes through it, especially if Lina can consider Aghanims. Either way, though, I think Slark is going to be looking for a very large amount of attack speed to build himself up to actually get those Essence Shift stacks rolling and just stay on his target. So Scotty, SNY, either Butterfly or Moonshard or something like that. And then Basher or Abyssal is probably a secondary pickup. Like, usually you'll see Slark as Abyssal third item most games. In this game, you don't really care if the target is bashed or just caught inside your pounce, inside your Scotty hits. I really feel like the Abyssal is something you could skip this game and be fine.
Ursa Warrior.
And the last pick for EHOME Luminous is going to be an interesting one. We're going to be seeing Ursa come out to bat for Kaido here. So, where is he going? Offlane Ursa? Is that a thing? I mean, they don't have any traditional offlaner, so I'm assuming they're running like a dual lane. But it's still really weird. I mean, I think Ursa's pretty good against Slark. Your Fury Swipes stay up plenty long enough to keep on hitting him, and he can't dispel them. But I gotta say, they gotta get out of the laning phase, and I don't see like a jungle start. Maybe he does jungle Ursa. Maybe you do like a... I don't know, we'll have to see. There's a lot of ways they could try to play it, but it's a little awkward already, so...
10
we'll
seconds
see.
remaining.
Jumping into the game. If we lag out, of course I'll go for a quick restart. And we are lagging out. As you guys can see, these guys
Prepare for battle.
seem to be struggling. Looks okay for the moment. Maybe we'll let it play out for a second. It's no worse than the previous game, I'll say that much. So let's go ahead and introduce the teams. We got Fan on his Shadow Fiend mid. No Tangos pulled to him yet, but he'll get them. Dazzle, gonna be played by X, covering up the top rune. He's going to be playing that 5 position. That leaves Clockwork in the off lane, played by Yang. Of course, Jixing will be running on the Slark. Currently looking at top lane. Are they going to pull a lane swap to dodge this Ursa? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Level 1 Roche? No, they're faking a level 1 Roche. They want somebody to check. And the Rocket Flare is the only way you can check, and then you don't get Power Cogs level 1. So this could be interesting. Dogfight's just walking right in. They've got an Observer Ward, and they're just going to get themselves a free first blood. He walks in. As soon as he does, he's in real trouble. Nothing to charge to. Goes down. He does spend his gold, but that is going to be first blood for freeze. So, just with the potential to do like the Cold Embrace and the attack speed slows and the gradual buildup of Fury Swipes, they find themselves a free first blood kill, and then they're still going to get the Bounty Rune on DXM. So a nice little extra way to really maximize your income. Just get your wards out early and don't show on the map. Suddenly, somebody walks right into your open arms. Again, the only way they can really afford to avoid that is to Rocket Flare scout the pit, which is really bad for the Roche fight itself if you're forced to do that 5v5, as well as really bad for Clockwork in the laning phase, as he can't cog block the creeps. Alright, so from there on out, we got Freeze and L running a dual lane here. And that will make the Night Stalker, Lena, have some decent chance against the Clockwork here, 2v1. In the meantime, you're looking at Kaido taking some major hits here. He'll get caught inside the pounce, but he's Earth-shocking and going to try to slip away. Going to healing salve up as soon as he can. So, coming on in is going to be HYM on the Winter Wyvern. It's going to be trying to fight 2v2 and start zoning out the Dazzle Slark. Easier said than done, but with cooldowns I can find some opportunities. I think the Ursa needs to get level 3 though, for them to start really bringing this lane back. And then from there they'll have an advantage until Slark hits 6. In the meantime, DXM getting some great damage in here as Nether Toxin and Poison Attack might just go under the tower. If he cuts, does he get it? Perfect World? Help? Okay, he didn't get it. So, yeah, so he didn't have a Tango available, otherwise he would have cut the tree. The shared Tango was on cooldown, otherwise he cuts that tree and he gets another attack in. Instead, if he went all the way around, it just would have taken too long. So in the end, Fan survives, but he is being kept at bay with 0 Necromastery, which is almost being as good as dead. And there it is, a freebie. Viper just takes a quick kill, and I guess the SF just tiptoes a little bit too far forward. Very awkward exchange. I've seen a lot of mid-deaths like that recently, and I'm not exactly sure what prompts that. Somebody is literally just in attack range of an opponent. There's nothing fancy about it. He shouldn't be there, and he is. But, you know, there it is. SF gets full HP, mana, and his bottle as he TPs to the front line. Obviously, it was an intentional suicide, otherwise he just would have ran and died to the neutral creeps, but, you know. He does take a heavy walloping, and he's now at least coming to bat with 1 soul, 1 CS. Oh, DXM just going to try to keep forcing on the high ground here. He's got enough corrosive breath, skin, but we're actually going to see the Spirit Breaker connect with the charge. Raze is coming through, right clicks as well, but 16 HP, thanks to the magic resistance, allows the Viper to slip away and just bring himself a healing salve. So, a good charge. Like I said, Viper has nothing that he can do against this charge, but without the Greater Bash skilled, it's actually not enough to get a kill. In the meantime, though, Clockwork going to be killed off bottom. He tries to man up. Instead, he gets picked off there. Just Void, Light Strike, spamming spells. Yeah, there's really nothing fancy to that one either. These kills just kind of happen out of nowhere. Sentry Ward can clear out the obs in mid, make it harder for DXM to predict the charges that are coming against him. And yeah, we are getting perfect world lag. It isn't pretty, but you know, it's sufficient to keep casting it. We're actually going to see Yang having a pretty hard time against Freeze here. If Lina finds a way to get mana, most likely with the Soul Ring, then she can start really dominating this lane once again. I was talking about that Ursa, though. He's found himself level 4, so a 1-1-2 build does give him a real possibility of killing somebody here up top. At the same time, Dazzle, 1-0-1. He's going to be sorely missing that shallow grave if he doesn't hit 3 soon.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Meantime, Jixing, just poor man's shield. Even a Mango. Everybody's picking up Mango these days. It's very cost effective, but I think Slark is one of the heroes that doesn't really need that mana boost. Just gets the help of the HP regen, which becomes pretty irrelevant at 6.
Rock it on!
Phase Boots on Lina. Wow, Freeze is really starting to look to garner momentum. We've got a Hasted Night Stalker. I'm not sure if this is a tower dive, though, even with the haste rune. Clockwork's pretty secure here, under his tower, with cogs available. So instead, Night Stalker will look to go mid, where this Observer Ward should see him, yeah, very early on. So they'll just pull back. Really good Obs Ward here, actually. This is giving them all the information they need to avoid a critical death. But Morbid Mass, Stout Shield, all Ursa needs to go for Roshan. And while they're afraid of the Hunter and the Knight, they're actually just going to lose the Rosh. There's no way they can go over and scout this Roshan. And because the Night Stalker is roaming around. A level 3 Night Stalker is still scary lurking in the shadows. And you just can't walk up to it and go for it. So in the meantime, the Ursa, with his Morbid Mask, now has 18 Fury Swipe stacks, dealing 380 bonus damage. And the Morbid Mask will sustain him infinitely. Rocket Flare was scouted out, but too little too late. Oh man, if they had only done that immediately, that could have been amazing. But no, he gets the smoke off, but charge coming through. The Void cancel! L saves L's life. Yeah, that's going to be Ursa getting the Aegis. And actually, Dogfights may be going down. Viper Strike, yeah, Dogfights will fall. Will charge away, but he'll just die in the trees. Alright, so, yeah, Kaidu was caught in a pretty bad spot there, but the Night Stalker does a very nice job of canceling out the charge. And now Ursa has that Rosh momentum. Level 7 suddenly. He got solo experience for it too. The Night Stalker didn't even steal experience. I'm not sure. I think that's actually really good. The Ursa having solo experience, suddenly jumping from level 4 to level 7.5 with an Aegis ready to dive. That's just so big. We're going to see the Clockwork, however, find the Night Stalker solo, and it should be just the death of him as the charge connects. But in the meantime, Kaidu goes in, enraging his Fury swipes Yang. One hit from death, but he's not going to find that next hit. Instead, it's going to be a DD Shadow Fiend trying to break the Aegis early, but he's taken 3 hits already, and he needs to get one more hit. There's the Bash stun, and that is going to be the Aegis popped. In the meantime, though, Dogfights will be losing a lot of movement speed. They'll look to run him down with the Void, but they need a couple more hits here, and Dazzle has the Grave. So they're going to be zoned off. No, no, don't dive this. This could be very dangerous indeed. They're going to go for Fan. Kaidu will... Viper will actually get the kill on 2 of those heroes, and yeah, they'll clean up Vex as well. Man, that Viper doing so much work. It could have been a dangerous dive. In fact, they've lost the Ursa now, and there's going to be the Night Stalker as well. I don't think that's worth it. Like, I feel like they got the Spearbreaker, and as soon as the Viper gets the Spearbreaker, that's a good kill. But diving further,
Radiant's top
really signs a
tower
death
is
warrant
under
and
attack.
actually feeds a massive influx. 564 gold for the death of the Ursa. That bounty is just so huge when he just took Roshan. His level was really high, and suddenly they get really just all that comeback. Now they kill off the
Dire's
Viper,
bottom tower
look
is
at the
under-
Night
Radiant's
Stalker,
top tower
stare him
is under
down,
attack.
and start to bring back the
Radiant
graphs.
structures are fortified.
I gotta say, that was probably
Radiant's top
a
tower
failed
is fallen.
movement there from the Ursa. Kaido could have just rested on his laurels, happy to get kill and rush momentum. Instead, he dies, and that level 7 kill is so big. SF is suddenly, I think, ahead of the Viper. Is that right? No, the Viper is still 400 experience ahead and has a mechanism. You look over the net worth, and Fan, he still had that bad start. You got to remember that. The Fan got solo killed by the Viper, and no participation, assist in an Ursa kill is going to change that
Radiant's
fact.
bottom tower is under attack.
Still that mechanism. Can't allow them to push a tier 1 tower while Ursa
Radiant's
farms.
bottom tower is under attack.
Can create a lot of possibilities here in just a moment towards taking the map and just snowballing the game. Freeze goes for the Soul Ring again. This time Phase Boots over Arcane since his allies aren't as mana dependent. And then of course he'll look for the Yules. Phase isn't really great against Clockwork, but otherwise it's pretty solid. Alright, Slark, how's he doing? Jixing, farming up 3,400 net worth, actually out-farming the Ursa that he fought on the top lane, but now getting ganked up a little bit here. HYM doesn't, unfortunately, have the Winter's Curse, so just hitting him once with the Arctic Burn. Freeze, looking for the long-range Light Circle Ray, but Slark's gonna Shadow Dance and speed himself away. Stack coming out, or just a farming pattern for Kaido. He's actually not attempting to stack more than what's already there. He's just looking to kill it off. The bigger the creep is, the easier Ursa has of killing it, because the Fierce Swipes just stack so hard so quickly. That's obviously why Roshan is such an easy creep for Ursa to kill. But yeah, so he'll rotate to the lane, farm that, go back to the Ancients, farm that. Triple stack might be a little hard for him to tank through, though. I will say that that's not the easiest set of targets to focus. So he's gonna have to kind of draw the creeps out and smack them out halfway from the camp. Still with double overpower and enrage, he should be able to do pretty much anything and kill anything he wants. So you gotta aggro it, target the big one, and just go to town. Oh, he's switching to the little drakes all over while I'm missing a kill on Lina. It's gonna be a Slark and Clockwork jumping in. Yang finds a great hook shot, gets his urn charges rolling, and I'm just watching a bear smack dragons. So yeah, he clears out a full triple stack, though it does take some time. And even then, he's actually starting to drop pretty low. Alright, so it works out. Triple stack was the right call. I obviously don't play enough Ursa to know that he can just kill everything in sight thanks to that enrage.
Dire's top tower is
So,
under attack.
let's talk progression. We've got Spearbreaker looking for his treads, Slark for drums, Clockwork, Blade Mill, Dazzle, a wand. But where does this SF go? I'm not really sure. An SF that's this underfarmed, trying to flash farm as best he can, but with no real stacks to fall back on. What he really can do. I mean, he's out-leveling, or he's outpacing the Ursa in terms of net worth, which is good. But he just needs more, and the BKB is not going to give it to him. A mechanism is my instinct. I think that's still a really good pickup for him, but it's not going to be a catch-all. It's still going to give him some issues. An alternative maybe would be like a Shadow Blade, and just find like a kill opportunity and move really quickly on the map. Well, that might get you one or two cool escapes until they buy dust. And really, you only need to win one or two fights to get yourself back on your feet in this kind of a game. But I think the mechanism is a safer call, and that's going to be fans' choice. Down bottom, Night Stalker looking for an opportunity. Kaido and Night Stalker could easily find themselves a kill. Dazzle has a TP looking to grave, but I still think that this could be a great opportunity for them, just going underneath tower here.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Rocket Flare coming out.
Radiant's bottom
Not
tower
just gonna
is
push on the
under
creep wave
attack.
though, not gonna scout anything.
Dire's structures are
So they're gonna push the
fortified.
tier 1 top. Should be able to finish that off with the Shadow
Tower
Fiend.
is under attack.
And in the meantime, Ursa finds
Radiant's
himself
bottom
very
tower
close to killing
is
off
under
tier 1
attack.
as well.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Ooh, dogfights. If he shows himself, he's pretty much a dead man. For right now, it's not happening. And in fact, we're seeing a lot of EHOME.L collaborating on the mid lane now that they have this Yule's. The Winter's Curse as well is a pretty big catalyst for action.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
There's a question for chat who was playing Ember last game. That would be Jixing on
Radiant's middle tower
Virtus
is under attack.
or VG Gaming Potential. That would be
top tower
the
is
Slark
under
player
attack.
of this game. Mechanism complete for the Shadow Fiend. A pretty solid time. I just feel like, I don't know, EHOME are looking for an opportunity that's just not going to be there just yet. This is nighttime. This is their time to fight. They've got an Ursa. They've got a Snowball team. This is where they need to start finding kills, but they're not moving top. They're not pushing mid. We're not seeing enough out of them. And they've let the SF just come back
Dire's
in
top
full
tower
with this
is under
mechanism. Like,
attack.
suddenly SF is equal
Radiant's
net
middle
worth.
tower is under attack.
Halfway between the Lina and the Viper. He's got a mechanism to fight with. I feel like they missed an opportunity to really press the attack. Instead, now we've got 5 heroes ready to rumble. There is a nice little ward placed here, giving some good information. But, yeah, it's a Blink Slark moving in as quickly as possible. He pings out the ward as he runs by it with his Shadow Dance. And he actually might find this one too, now that I think about it. Yeah, Shadow Dance leaves here. He's like, okay, well, they see us in the middle. Can you sentry that now? And,
Do it with flair.
for now, they want to just get control of this area. Kaido going to come in for the flank, but the Karakok could really mess with him here. No, the hook shot does connect, despite the lag, and the blink follow through from Kaido tries to kill off Yang, but again, he can't stay on target against that clockwork. Now going to see the Light Trickery come down, the Winter's Curse not getting a chance to come out since there was the quick burst. Jixing, the Slark burned down by the Laguna Blade, now Fan getting focused down. But the Shallow Grave will keep him up for a little bit longer here, and he might be able to kite his way away. No, he stands, he fights, he kills, and that will take down 2 more. But they bought back on the Slark, not sure about that. Freeze goes down, and Slark was a part of that. Maybe not necessary, though. I think the Slark buyback is arguable, but the overall teamfight execution from VG.P was strong. They definitely brought that back nicely, and they overall profit for it significantly. Ursa did get some blood there, so he does get 535 gold, but overall that was definitely a win for VG.P. And going for a Midas on the Viper. He's going to get level 16 faster. He's going to extend his potential into the later stage of the mid-game, but this is still a mid-game hero. He's never meant to be late-game, even with a hand of Midas. So this is really pushing his potential to like the 45-minute mark rather than just 35. And they need to start looking to end with Roche number 3. But we're looking at Roche number 2, freshly respawned, and of course he immediately goes for the pit. This time with a Rocket Flare and a Charge of Darkness to greet him. But they have the Winter's Curse. HYM didn't get that off in the last fight, so we'll see this one actually break down pretty quickly. Kaido pops the Enrage, tries to finish off Roshan with a few last hits. Oh, wow, look at that damage. It's actually going to be the Dire getting the Aegis again. Kaido grabs it, and they collab the Roshan last hit. Fan getting the Shallow Grave, will stand and keep fighting. HYM almost goes down, but a Cold Embrace keeps him alive, even against the Requiem. So now we see the Slark pursuing, but compromising his position entirely, and he won't get the blink away. He thought he could just kill the Wyvern and get out easy with that blink dagger. Instead, they lose all 5 heroes. Lina doing some really good work just with a couple of LSAs. And obviously Laguna was used, but it doesn't show up on the recap. Even still. Really good work overall from EHOME to keep coverage over the pit, and this is their time. This is where they're strongest, and they're going to go ahead and just push forward. BKB, the next item for Ursa. He just drink a Clarity, eat a mango, and then grab his Ogre Club. Man, this guy is mana hungry. But, you know, costs 175 gold, but it keeps you on the map, so that can be just as valuable if you keep farming and farming. Viper's going to go for the Aghanims next. Should find that at a pretty good pace from what we've seen. Perfect world lag. Please. Just hold off for 25 minutes.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Tier 1 going to be going down bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And Jixing's just going to farm top. I'm curious what he goes next. I assumed he was going to go drums because attack speed's so important in this game. But
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
for now, he's just got that Blink Dagger. His own kind of unique playstyle of just being mobile and being involved. It's a very old build. You used to see Slark go Blink Dagger every game, but I feel like people understand the hero a little bit better nowadays, and they're actually, while it can create opportunities with like Clockwork hooking in and the Spearbreaker charging in and the Slark being there too, I feel like it's just as easy to punish it. I don't know.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
HYM doing pretty well for himself. Going to be looking for that Glimmer-K pretty soon, I presume. Nice Hawker just going to go straight for the Aghanims. I mean, he wasn't really farming. I mean, his last hits count is only 13, but he can just probably accomplish that in a decent time. He'll have level 2 Darkness, he'll have his Axe, and he'll be able to control the map to a decent extent. Find their kill targets is really, he's just going to be the pointer for it. We're actually going to see here, Freeze getting caught out by the hook shot once again, and the Clockwork, Yang with the Blade Mail and with the finishing blow of the Rocket Flare is able to pick up a huge kill here. And Lina, really not the Kira that can afford to be picked off. Back up for net worth 10k, up on the Viper, who's 4-1-4 with 113 CS. Obviously the Midas also paying some dividends. Is he actually standing still? I can never tell with this lag. Alright, dogfights, cancels out a charge, not really much opportunity there anyways. And I feel like it's time for the Ursa to rejoin his allies. Like, he goes back home, he's looking for the BKB, but he needs to be up there on the front line with that Aegis. They've already taken every tier 1, but they need to start pushing beyond that. Because I think Roche 3, that's the last peak they'll hit in this game. And then from there, it's a downslope that VG.P will start taking away. I mean, obviously it depends on how they build and how well the Winter Wyvern plays, but all in all, I do feel like they have kind of a timeline here. Oh, blinking past. Will you just walk right by? The Dazzle has to be shaking in his little booties, but he'll just calmly pull out the newspaper and TP away. 700 gold from the Aghanim Scepter. Smoke play comes out from bottom lane. They've got the nighttime advantage. They're moving through with that extra vision, with that extra movement speed, and they're going to look to bring Fawn down. He's got a mechanism. He's also got Yasha for movement speed, but neither will do him any favors here if they can catch him out. For now, though, they're trying to go behind the tower, hoping he's there. They get a good ward down. But again, these tricky wards are not as strong against a Slark that's been all over the map this game. And Jixing going for more mobility, going for the S and Y on top of that Blink Dagger. Very interesting. So they break the smoke, they go right for the tower here in mid. And of course they've got all the backup they need to make that work out clean. What in the world is that sound effect? Anyways, tier 3 tower going to be going down as well. It's actually taking a lot of hits here. And that's going to be about a third of it gone completely before they can start forcing VG.P back. They take the tier 2 in mid, but now we're going to see the hook shot here on HYM. Can they stop the Winter's Curse? Yes, they can kill him. He's going to have to buy back. He needs to get this Winter's Curse, and now VG.P needs to split. They need to run, but they can't group up. They need to get out of here as quickly as possible. They go for the TP, but Freeze will get the cancel. Jixing in some real trouble, trying to run away. He will heal up and have to blink out. Fan on the front line will be focused, and that will be the death of him. Yang definitely not getting out of such a tough spot, and even Spirit Breaker falling to the wrath of the Ursa. So, all in all, a fight without Dazzle, and a fight they just shouldn't have taken. As soon as that buyback came out on the Wyvern, they had to leave, but instead they were still pushing forward for a few more seconds. And that certainly can cost you. Just a few seconds of hesitation when they have to realize they can't take a fight at that stage, when the Wyvern comes back with their curse. Alright, so Aghanims is up for the Viper. going to be approached quickly for the Lina, and this is where the Slark build also starts to be kind of lacking with this Blink. I feel like this Blink is a pretty dead item here. Like, I like mobility, and I think you have some potential for pickoffs, but we haven't seen Jixing go for any solo pickoffs or any duo pickoffs with Clock or with Spear Breaker. And in reality, he's going to be facing a lot of Aghanims effects that he's just not going to have the survivability for. He's not going to have the attack speed to withstand against the Viper Strike, the HP to withstand against the Empowered Laguna. I'm a little bit worried about Jixing's potential here. Normally, I would say Slark is the late game presence. He would absolutely be able to trash any of these heroes in a late game scenario, but the way he's building, it's taking a long time for him to come online, and this gives a greater window for EHOME to continue to just build themselves up. He's trading net worth with Ursa right now, but SF having a really hard time of it, 3, 5, and 3, and most of this doesn't even come down to what happened in the laning phase. That definitely hurt fans' farm, but what hurts him the most is this Night Stalker. The fact that he constantly is roaming in the Radiant jungle, he's lurking in the shadows, your vision is suppressed, and the end result is that fan can't feel safe farming camps. Maybe he takes like 1 or 2 of the eastern camps, but otherwise he farms a creep wave per lane. It's really slow progression for him. On top of that, Slark is taking quite a bit of the CS as well. Like, this is actually a safer position for a fan than most of the rest of the map, interestingly enough. And a fast Rosh respawn. This is actually huge for the Ursa lineup. They want as many Roshes packed into this game as possible. And we're going to see that respawning here only 40 seconds after the minimum timer. That's insane. Sorry, I talked for about half an hour there, forgetting to take a drink of water. We're going to see Kaido pop the VG.P in response to this aggression, and he actually will be able to stand here for a long time. But Yang just goes in, goes for the call play, forces a Winter's Curse, and we're just going to see TP away from the Spear Breaker. They actually get very little for this. They have 10-second VG.P used, the Winter's Curse on cooldown, and yet all they take down is a Clockwork. But at the same time, Mr. Roche with his cheese, ready to rumble. And that's obviously going to be huge for EHOME. And it's going to be something that VG.P have to look once again to contest when I don't know if they can. We're actually going to see Kaido look for an opportunity onto Dazzle. Instead, we're going to see Jixing actually jump in. What is he doing? Gonna not get hit by the Crippling Fear. Instead, he'll go for the Dark Pact, and that is a Shadow Dance that's going to actually get him the kill on the Night Stalker. But now Kaido's going to look to re-engage. Mana-less as he may be, he wants some kills. Dazzle's not going to be it as he Grave TP's home. Maybe if you get a poison attack on him right to take it the perfect time when he makes it back to Fountain, you can actually get a kill against Grave TP, but it's rare. Jixing going to eat a Laguna Blade up top here, just going to bounce away, and Freeze going to TP before the charge can punish him. So overall, I mean, a good move there from the Slark. Jumping past the Ursa was what kind of caught me off guard. It looked like he was going to go for the fight against the Ursa because of the perfect world lag, but he actually was kind of dancing around him looking for the Night Stalker behind. Or the Daywalker in this case. Alright, so we've got 5k net worth favoring EHOME and about 3,500 experience, but they've had this kind of a lead for a long time, and it hasn't cemented them that much of an advantage here in the game so far. We're going to see the Enrage absolutely decimate Roshan, and maybe the hook shot could come through? No. They were looking at mid, but instead they're the ones that are now in retreat. And I would say EHOME are pretty confident at this particular stage of the game. Again, I would call this their last peak, but because Roche respawned so quickly, they actually might be able to get another one, and another boost in resurgence and potential, as they build up the Abyssal on the Ursa. Cheese went to the Wyvern for now. Here Viper, getting the Viper Strike onto Jixing. What's his attack speed right now? That is... oh, it tapers. Huh. I knew that the movement speed tapered. For some reason, I never thought the attack speed did. You learn new things every day. So yeah, he pounces that one. does disjoint it that time around.
Flares here.
Yeah, I just was kind of surprised to see that attack speed just going up and up and up. It makes sense that the attack speed slow and the movement speed slow taper at the exact same curve, but I never really thought about it, I guess. That's because in Dota 1, all the attack speed information you got was very high, slow. Gonna be Yang jumping in, actually pretty aggressive here, but Fan's got a good ultimate ready and waiting. Unfortunately, gets Yules and caught in. Manta Dodge not gonna be coming out, so he'll just die without Requieming, at least not on his terms. And now Kaido just gets to run people down. Blade Mail or not. Speedbreaker and Clockwork both have Blade Mails, but it doesn't seem to be doing much here. Dogfights will look for the charge out of his Glimmer Cape, though, and he will actually survive for now. Yeah, he's home free. The Glimmer Cape actually came from the Dazzle, so props to X for picking that one up. But now we have a push here onto the high ground, and Slark only has a BKB. These are not items to fight an Ursa with. This is maybe to jump the Lina, I would say, but she's got cheese now. It's going to be easier said than done. He'll be crippled, he'll pounce away. Forcing the Viper Strike, I guess that's fine. But now we're going to see this tier 3 tower going down pretty quickly. And Freeze is going to be charged. He's got the cheese. He's ready to use it, and they're just going to start clobbering dogfights if they have the detection. There it is. The Glimmer Cape expires, and it looks like he's going to die, even with this shallow grave. Kaido, maybe Aegis going down. He's down to 30 HP, but he'll go down in the end. He blinked into the cogs here. And Yang killed him with the Blade Mail. But now he's come back up, full mana, full HP, ready to roll, just doesn't have the Enrage. Jixing, how much stacks does he have? 15, 16 stacks of Essence Shift as he starts hitting on his target, but he just can't stay on target, and now has to be jumping away as the Laguna Blade strikes against him. Kaido, looking for some more blood. A nice little set of cogs, though, from Yang. And he's actually going to keep them locked in a combat position for a long, long time. The Ursa will go down for the second time, and now HYM in some real trouble. Why hasn't he blown the Winner's Curse yet? This entire fight, he's had Winner's Curse, and he doesn't blow it. What in the world? They lost that handily, and they just didn't have the team fight that they needed. They take the tier 3. But VG.P just going hard, and some amazing cogs coming in from Yang just set him up for a massive success. They absolutely destroy that team fight. Now, not only killing Ursa twice, but pushing forward, and that window is closing quickly for EHOME. Oh, jumping in. They do get the surprise blink, but it's a pretty low HP Slark who's just going to have to jump away. Inside the cogs, though, it is going to be a jump onto some lower HP heroes here. The Night Stalker. Oh, what a Laguna Blade. Finishing off the Slark. He thought he had a little bit more health to work with there, and he thought he was safe with the BKB. But as soon as he pops it, the Laguna just takes him down very quickly. Fan, actually, kind of much the same situation. He tries to stand and fight. No dice. They end up losing 3 heroes for 1. And the tier 2 gets denied. Yang here doesn't have a TP scroll. They're going to keep running him down. I think he's pretty much guaranteed dead. Like, you'd have to juke out of your mind here. And obviously, the Night Stalker can find his axe shortly anyways. Yang, Force Staff, it's cute, but it just delays the inevitable. He will be going down here.
I'm mechanically.
So, axe complete. And Darkness available. They're going to be looking to push with that. Yeah, I think they want to force the Clockwork buyback, which is actually a really easy thing to do, because most of the time with a team with a Clockwork, you have like a core hero that needs to buy back, and you want to start the fight, and then get the buyback, and then TP that hero up front. But when the Clockwork's the hero that's looking to have the buyback forced, you really can't have anybody secure the engagement. Yeah, you can jump in with a Slark, but you're probably popping a BKB or a Shadow Dance just for it, and in this case, you're just kind of playing around with the Dark Pack, doing some good AoE damage and trying to buy those last 10 seconds. Now that they're all 5 up, though, VG.P, I would say, have an advantage here. And it's going to come down to a really good Winter's Curse from HYM. Jixing does get hit by that Viper Strike. He's only attacking once per second when that's in full effect. But now we're going to see dogfights. Blade Mail or not, he's taking a lot of hits. He's going to be graved. And that's actually going to be the Ursa on the front line doing the most damage here. Or just popping the Enrage, trying to do the most he can with the Furious Wipes, but he just can't stay on target. He gets bashed around 2 or 3 times. We're going to see a quick buyback on the Slark as he gets focused down by the Laguna Blade again. Now Ursa, caught inside the Cold Embrace, Glimmer as well, trying to get away, trying to reset the fight. Now that the Slark has bought back, they need to run, they need to disengage, and they actually end up doing so. This means that the only buyback, and the only death, in fact, was the Slark, which is huge. Just Lagunaing him down every time. This 850 pure damage is well over a third of his life, closing in on almost half of it. Slark just needs to get a Scotty out. He needs to get tanky. But yeah, that's a good buyback force. That's going to be down for 6 minutes, and I think that's the window. Roche will be respawning in 1 to 4 minutes. And in that time, they should push with Aegis, with Jixing being able to buy back. And that will pretty much be the climax of the game, I believe. But in the meantime, farming things up. We've got an Assault Cross on Viper. Like I said, he really has extended the value of this hero. Where normally you'd be like, okay, we have a Viper, so what? At about this stage of the game or in a few minutes. No, this guy's still large and in charge. He's got Assault Cross, Ags, Mech. He's a level 18 hero. Just that alone means a lot. So yeah, I think the Viper's still very relevant this game. Lina looking for an opportunity on the Slark, but slippery as he is, it's unlikely to happen. Unless Jixing himself forces the issue. Oh, that would be a huge mistake. The Winter's Curse. Yeah, are they going to get it? Oh my gosh, he just died again! Did he just throw 2 games in a row? First on the Ember Spirit, now on the Slark. He died back for 87 seconds, and they're just going to push down mid. That's going to be A lane of Rax. 80 seconds is a massive time. They make me take 25 seconds to get to the racks themselves, 10 seconds to clear it out. There's no way the Slark is involved in the next fight. I would say that Jixing's performance at in the last 5 to 10 minutes of Game 1 cost them a dramatic point advantage. I wouldn't say it lost them the game, but it was just near it on the Ember Spirit. And now, he just went out and diebacked across the map where he didn't need to be. I feel like this is another loss on his part.
Incoming.
We'll keep an eye on it. Slark coming back in 38 seconds. It's going to be on Fan to really hold the ground, but he gets Viper striked. He just gets clobbered. Glimmer Cape, I think they have the detection for it. Yeah, they pop the dust, but Kaido does get kited around a little bit by Yang. They hog knock back him, and Kaido now taking some massive damage. We'll have to pop the Enrage on the defensive. They'll just take the range racks, and that might be it. Another Viper Strike comes out on Fan. Really hurts, really annoying, and they can't heal that back up with the mech. But is it enough to kill off this melee barracks? It doesn't look like it. 10 seconds on Slark's respawn, and they'll just walk away with that. So these guys know when it's time to disengage. I feel like VG.P don't have that restraint. Up top, they were very far in the base, way too deep. And then over here, when you have no buyback, this is not the place to be. So, it does cost them quite dearly. And now they're going to be up at 36 minutes, up against a level 13 Night Stalker with Aghanims and Gem. 36 minutes, the map belongs to the Knight, and the Roshan respawns. All of that allowing VG.P to pretty much just huddle in their base and hide. They've just lost so much already. I mean, range racks isn't that big of a deal, but just even having wards in your base and not having the D wards is gonna start hurting them more and more. This is nice though. Well, I'm talking a lot about how Slark is the late game carry. You can't count out Shadow Fiend. Still brings a lot to the table when he has some good items, and he's actually built himself up to the second highest net worth, where Jixing has bought back and diebacked his net worth down to 5th place. We actually see that Shadow Fiend is actually doing pretty well in terms of items. He's got Manta, Butterfly, Mech, and right now there's no counter to the evasion. And as I've stated before, Ursa is not the kind of hero that wants to buy MKB. So Butterfly is actually the perfect item, and I think that might actually change the Laguna Blade focus over to the Shadow Fiend. I'm not sure, but
Incoming.
I mean, that is literally half of Shadow Fiend's HP if they get the Laguna on him. So, pretty important. Butterfly's also good against Winter's Curse, since obviously your allies are attacking you in that case too. We're actually going to see Yang just get obliterated. The Abyssal was used actively there, but now they'll look for one more. Jixing, can they get the curse on him? No, they need a blink or a force on the Wyvern, and that's just not there. Oh, Jixing, what are you doing? Stop fighting! You can't fight this. He'll disjoint the Viper Strike with the pounce, the blink away. In the meantime, the Dazzle gets picked off, and the Winter's Curse guarantees the Spirit Breaker's death. Oh my. They really can't fight this. This is not even a Roshan factor anymore. They're just going to go right in, and now Jixing has to do these shenanigans. He has to try to delay things for as long as possible without dying, but without dying is the key part. He pops BKB Shadow Dance, starts to turn onto Ursa, starts stealing Essence, but the long-range Requiem debuffs the enemy. They're going to lose that debuff, and they're going to surge forward onto the SF, who has no grave to save him this time. They'll Laguna him down for the count. Jixing stands with 2 Strength Heroes as the sole defenders of the Radiant Ancient. Clockwork's back, Spear Breaker coming in, but bottom lane is looking really bleak right now. Jixing has to do something amazing, but he doesn't have the cooldowns for it. There is a weave, there is going to be the Shallow Grave, and this will be a bit of a last stand here. But I feel like EHOME are ready to fight just outside the base. They'll go ahead, turn onto dogfights, and yes, they will force the Shallow... No, not even a Shallow Grave. The Ursa's right on top of the Dazzle, keeps them busy, and they actually just lose the Spirit Breaker straight up. Now it's 2 heroes with a 35-second death timer and no ability to buy back. These lack of buybacks are absolutely destroying VG.P. And now the melee Rax is going to fall. BKB popped on the Ursa, and nice little play from Yang. Good cogs overall, but that's just delaying things. The Shallow Grave shifting focus. They're going to actually bring Kaido very, very low, but he won't fall, and in fact it'll be the Slark who gets finished, prompting the GG. Oh, that was such a disastrous finish for VG.P. 2 games in a row. I feel like they had the late game lineup. They had the heroes that could withstand EHOME's push and their devastating momentum. They could stop them in their tracks and they could turn the game back on its head. But no, EHOME prevail through persistence and honestly some misplay coming in from Mr. Jixing there on the Slark. I won't put both games, or even one of the games, entirely on his shoulders, but he did not help the situation. Really rough game coming from him there, dying so many times in so many places, and it just hurt. On top of that, Fan getting absolutely manhandled by the Viper in lane, which can happen if you're not well practiced in that matchup, and I think Fan's transition to the safe lane over to the mid is probably responsible for that, because most experienced mid players, at least in the West, will have practiced playing against Viper dozens of times, really know that matchup well, no matter what hero they're on, and they won't have to really think twice about where to position themselves and when they need to retreat. But I felt like Fan was out of his comfort zone there, and I would have to say it's most likely because he was a safe lane carry, transitioning to mid, and he is so focused on his mid transition that he's actually only practicing against meta heroes rather than the non-meta Viper, which just absolutely stomped him all over. He still came back with some good items, but not enough to carry the game, as EHOME.L, EHOME Luminous, they take 2-0 over VG.P, and that is huge. That was an absolutely amazing performance from them, and I love the dynamic heroes, the carry Linas and the Ursa picks and all that is working out really well here in the Chinese scene. Anyways, that was a wild series of Dota 2. And that is going to be wrapping up the broadcast for us here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I myself am Blaze. You can follow me at BlazeCasting on Twitter. It's been a real pleasure casting these games for you guys today. It is now past 6 a.m. It's quarter past, and I would like to get to bed. So I'm going to bid you all adieu. I'm very appreciative you've stuck with me through all of it, either through VODs or live. It's time for some Frankfurt Majors. Check it out over, I think it's twitch.tv/Dota Major, and that's going to be some great international Dota 2. Catch you later, guys. Have a good night.